Good morning, all. I'm just enjoying the sunrise and sitting by my morning fire and thinking of all of you. And so I'm going to send out to you this week's little postcard vlog. Enjoy. It's the beginning of the week after our week of snowstorm, and in typical coastal New England style, last week was blizzards in winter, and this week it's like spring. It's mid-40s. They say by the week's end it could be up into the 50s. This is Fahrenheit, of course. And it's so nice to be in the wood again, because of course when we had the big drop of snow, it would have been a lovely workout, but I did not want to shovel pathways through the woodland. And you can see here in the where it's more shaded and around the pine where I want to build the circular bench that some of the snow still remains. But this is a lovely length of snow, a bit of snow. Good for walking in, makes a lovely crunch. And as we head out of the little copse of trees into the open field, we can see again. It has that look of either late autumn or early spring. I think little things like this are always magical. A bit of moss, and the whole base of this tree has water in. Doesn't this look like a little place where fairies would alight and sit? And I'm sure birds and animals do. So you can see, still snow in the field, but not so much so that you can't walk. The beautiful moss made it though. Isn't that lovely? I just had my camera in my pocket, as I'm trying to do, and this is the first time going back to this bit of my walk, which I've shared so many times, but I haven't been able to walk here for a good 4 days. I've just been walking our road, which is cleared-ish, and it's nice to get back down to see the tide in the small harbor and the path down to the salt marsh and the woods. I'm still quite happy just sharing these little shiny moments of my day. Let's see what this gull is having for his breakfast, if I don't scare him away. You can see the gulls out. The sand is so nice and soft. As you can see, it's exposed because the tide is low. I believe the tide is coming back in. This is a pretty view, seeing through the pathway by the little boardwalk. And can you see the float? The little buoy marker there with its reflection through the trees. Of course, the sound of snow underfoot. The sound of the waves. A duck or cormorant winging across. You can hear that sound as the tide returns into the little small opening here into these causeways that we kayak in. It always makes that nice rushing sound. Hopefully the mic is picking it up. Oh well, we missed what our gull friend was feasting upon. Just a lovely winter's day to be out, to stretch my legs into the field and wood that was covered by snow. But life went on, as you can see. Shellfish were still ate by gulls. The shoreline still rose and fell with the sea water from the tide. And life continues on. I think I'm rather spoiled with our seasons because though I love winter and snow, what we're often lucky to have here in coastal New England, and my little bit of the land anyway, is we will get a snowstorm, and then it will often be followed by warm rains, and then we get a little reprieve of spring. And just when you're starting to get that itch to start planting things a little too early inside, which the duck is reminding me is foolish, the temperatures will drop and we'll get a freeze or the snow will return. But I just love, that's part of the song and the life of this place, the changing seasons. And it never, ever is dull as far as views go. And look at all the little individual sections of leftover snow turned into little ice pellets as the tide rushes up over the top to here. But not enough to quite melt it as it floats, and then it recedes back down. Well, I think I'm going to make this as a little time capsule vlog or a little postcard vlog so that if my week becomes too busy and I find myself behind, I can edit this little walk up and send it out to you on a Sunday. Oh gosh, look at this lovely cluster of oysters. This fellow's still intact. He could be dinner, but obviously we wouldn't touch those. I could take that home and have him for dinner, but go back and make more offspring. Oh, here's another. Boy, the tide was really bringing them in. That means we really had this is still intact too. I love that we get such big oysters, but a lot of it is because the oyster fishermen seed here, and so a lot of their seed, of course, doesn't stay in the traps or the cages. And so we always have a lovely collection of oysters here. Now let's take a little frozen early sunrise break. Whilst I have that view in the background, I'll share a little sketch that I was working on this week in my series of ladies and their pets. Now this is a pencil sketch with watercolor with the lovely lady and her pet cat. Now this will remain a piece in its own right, such as this, which I'll probably put as prints or things, but it's also a study, which I will probably do in oils, and I may give her a fan in her hand and give it some title such as Lady with a Fan, because I love kind of a silly title in which we focus on the lady's fan and not that she's wearing a cat on the top of her head. But I do love to do ladies, often ginger-haired ladies with cats or pets, and in this case she's wearing a ginger cat because I've been thinking a lot of my lost pets this week, and our dear cat, whom we never named and just called Puss, was a lovely ginger cat, and I do miss her. So that is this week's Work in the studio, a watercolor sketch of Lady with a Fan. Well, that's today's little postcard from me to you. Just salvaging some oysters that we can enjoy in the summer. Getting back out into the marsh and the woodland now that the snow is disappearing. I hope all of you had a lovely week and found some joy in whatever your environment happens to give you. And until next time, remember, stay creative. Cheers.